one, though. So another story leaked yesterday from the Green Bay management side. We're not budging. You know what that tells me, Greg? They're listening to their fans. They're listening to the talk shows in Milwaukee. And those fans, like, they're over Aaron Rodgers. Like, I know he's great, but we had Leroy Butler was on last week, and he goes, on my show, it's 95-5. Packer fans are done with it. Hang out with your celebrities. Do Jeopardy. I mean, don't you think it's crazy that Green Bay management leaks another story? We're not budging.
Well, I look at it a couple different ways. From the Packers' perspective as an organization, they shouldn't budge. Like, he's the MVP of the National Football League. He's coming off of one of his best seasons. He's 37 years old. He still gives you the best chance to win. Why are you going to budge? You don't budge. You call his bluff. If he's going to, and if he desires to be out, he will come out and say it eventually. If he doesn't, he's going to be disgruntled. He's going to be right there, and we're going to see him performing and playing under center for the Green Bay Packers. Jeopardy is not a lock. Like, he hasn't been offered that gig. And I know everyone's like, what if? There's a lot of what ifs in life. And the Packers right now, they're like, what if we just say we're not budging? There is nothing Aaron Rodgers can do outside of not play. So they win in that situation.
So it's interesting. So I'm not going to ask you all Green Bay questions. So I want to ask you about Julio Jones. He's expensive. He's coming off injuries. Would you give up a first-round pick for Julio Jones?
You know what? It depends on the team. It depends on the team. I would love to see Julio Jones with a young quarterback that has a receiver alongside that is already established that can take some of the weight off of Julio Jones. That quarterback and that team and that receiver happens to be where you are in LA, the Chargers, alongside Keenan Allen, with the young Justin Herbert at quarterback. I think they can afford it. I wouldn't give up a first round for Julio. He might be worth it to some teams, but at this stage in his career, as great as he is, I don't think you will have to give up a first round for Julio Jones. He wants to be out. He already wants to be out of Atlanta. He's expressed that. So that's already lowered the value right there coming out of the gate.
Okay, you're a pro athlete. So this will sound ridiculous, but I think you can fool a lot of coaches. You can't fool players. So Justin Fields, the video's out him at practice, and he is ripped. He looks like he's in pads. He's just ripped. 6'4", big arm. And I think you're going to have to start him in Chicago. You put Andy Dalton next to him on a practice field, you're not going to get buy-in from players when you watch him. Mac Jones' video comes out. He looks small, baggy pants, doesn't fill out the uniform, standing next to Cam Newton. And I'm saying to myself, I know this sounds ridiculous, but I think players buy in or don't buy in during camp. And I see the Justin Fields video, and I see the Mac Jones video, and I'm sorry, I'm a visual creature here. Does that stuff matter to players?
It does matter, but you can't just base everything on visuals. Like, when you listen to guys like Kendrick Bourne, who's there, who's catching the passes, who's watching him go through his film study, who's in the locker room, who's in the study room, who's on the field with them, and he's speaking highly. And again, it is Kendrick Bourne. He's a good player. He's not a great receiver. He has good talent. He's not a guy that you're going to just hang your hat on and say, oh, Kendrick Bourne said it, so everybody should believe it. But it is credible when you think about the way that players look at guys. And he wouldn't have praised him. I pause on that. He would praise him because it is his quarterback. But to go to the extent, it wouldn't have been to the extent of what he was saying. And when you look at, you can look at Mac Jones right now. Like, he has Cam Newton alongside him.
I mean, look at this.
He wins every swag war that is ever presented. You cannot come out to practice looking like that.
Look at that.
Like, no, go down a short size, go down maybe 2, let them be a little tighter.
Look at that.
Even in the 50, I mean, they just make him look bad. I mean, all of what you're saying is right. He does look small. He does look like he can put on some size, but he's smart. He's what they want. And I think he's going to be well in that system because of the pieces around him at the coaching spots, and then even some of the personnel that they now have acquired, specifically the tight ends.
I know I feel like a bad guy here, but I just saw that Justin Fields video, and I was like, you're not going to keep I mean, let's be honest about it. So we have the Justin Fields video. If he looks good in the preseason, the Bears fans have been tolerating Trubisky for years. Look at this kid, 6'4", moving around. I know it's just video, but that kid is so decked out. If he looks good in the preseason, you've been in that division before. You think Chicago fans are like, yeah, we're good with Andy Dalton. Greg, I don't buy that I think he's going to pop in practice for these guys, and too many guys are going to be like, Coach, look at the kid.
We all know. Without seeing him play, even a down in the NFL, I believe he's going to pop. With the way he communicates, the way he commands the respect of his teammates already, even at the rookie mini camps that we saw and we were privy to, his posture, his disposition, everything about him says, I am the alpha already. He does everything right. He says the right things. We know how smart he is. However, it will not hurt the Bears to start Andy Dalton. It will not hurt. You can go to him at any point, at any moment. If it's the second quarter of the first game, if it's week 2, you always have that card, and I know they're going to play it sooner rather than later.
All right. Yeah, I don't want to be a bad guy. Just when I see video of practice and one guy's got baggy pants standing next to Cam, the other guy looks like an Adonis, I got an opinion on it, okay?
I mean, it's kind of like my shirt and how it's buttoned up versus your shirt and how it's just open at the top, and we're different.
Yeah, one of us is a professional and one of us is sloppy, is what you're saying. I totally get that, Greg.
No, I'm not. You definitely kill it at your job and your occupation.
All right, get out of here, Greg Jennings, Fox Sports. Good seeing you. By the way, Justin Fields' jerseys, Joy,